just taking your time here, arriving as you find your feet grounding down and then stacking your joints more or less as usual, ankles, knees, hips and shoulders, and then right between those shoulders, the head. And if you're feeling stable and grounded, maybe your eyes close, or maybe they don't close completely, so maybe your eyelids are just resting down, but still some light comes in. And then just coming to your breath, noticing inhales and exhales, noticing any sensations in the body today. And then focusing on the inhales to find length and the exhales to ground. Begin to find a bit of engagement through abdominal muscles. Push the floor away a bit more actively. So right away as you push your feet down into the ground, you'll notice your quads engage, outer hips, your glutes engage too. And taking advantage of your inhales to expand a bit more through your chest, through your rib cage. And then on your exhales, drawing those ribs back towards midline, drawing the belly towards the spine. And as we approach our twist today in practice, I'll remind you, but remember, inhales come first, inhales to lengthen up, to make space in that spine, and then using your exhales to find some rotation, some turn. Take another breath in and breath out. And then with your next inhale, open eyes, bring your arms in front of you, palms are facing one another, and then reach them any amount overhead. And then on your exhale, arms go wide and down by your side. So that movement a couple more times, reaching forward, inhale and up. And exhale out and down. And one more like that, inhale forward, up. And exhale and down. Now with your next inhale, bend into those knees, coming up into chair pose, arms by your ears. And as you exhale, lowering your arms down by your side and back behind you any amount. And then again, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, arms lower. And one more like that. Keep sitting down in your chair. Inhale, arms lift. And exhale, arms lower. As you inhale, push the floor away, straighten legs, reach your arms up. And on your exhale, right hand down, side stretch. Return through center, inhale. Take it over to the other side as you exhale. Come back through center on the inhale. And now bring hands behind you, interlace them at your lower back. Open up through the chest, knuckles reach down towards the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades. With your next exhale, drop the chin to your chest. You're still squeezing through those shoulder blades. Find that space in the back of your neck. With your next breath in, release your hands, reach them overhead. And as you exhale, left arm down, side stretch. Coming back through center, breathing in. And take it over to the other side, breathing out. Inhale back through center. And on your exhale, lower those arms down by your side. Bend your knees again, come back into your chair pose, arms lift. And now on your exhale, only lower your left arm down and maybe back some. Inhale, arm lifts. Same thing with the left. Exhale, lower and back. Inhale, lift. One more time each side. Right arm lowers, keep sitting down. Inhale and lift. And exhale, left arm lowers. Nice job. Inhale, rise, straighten legs. And on your exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Back through center, inhale. Over to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale, hands behind you. Find the opposite interlace of those fingers. Knuckles reach down, chest opens. And once again, drop the chin to the chest. This time pause here and find a little movement through the neck. So you might send your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then chin back through center, left ear to left shoulder. One more time each side at your own pace. And then coming back through center, lift your gaze, release those hands, bend your knees once again, find your chair pose, and this time bring hands to your heart. Palms are pressing against one another, elbows are reaching in opposite directions, and then we'll find some rotation through the wrists. So we're going to send the fingers away from us and then down. Keep pressing the palms together, and then draw the fingers back up, and then see if you can turn them towards your chest. And then like that again, up, out, and down, and then out, up, and towards us. And then bring those fingers to point up towards the ceiling, and then push the floor away, straighten legs. This time, right hand around left wrist, and pull that left wrist up and over towards the right side. Pause, breath in, and breath out. Returning through center, switching the wrist, same thing now to the other side. Left hand pulls that right wrist up and then over towards the left side. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring yourself back through center, and this time with your next exhale, arms go wide, find a nice bend in your knees and folding forward. Release your hands, they can come to your shins, and as you breathe in, halfway lift. Remember, keep your knees bent here. You'll be able to find a neutral spine a little bit easier. Exhale and fold. 2 more. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, forward fold. Give yourself a moment to get acquainted with the forward fold. Shift a bit forward and back. Maybe you're holding onto opposite elbows. If it feels good, draw the chin a bit more towards your chest, and you'll just notice that the neck releases a little further. The back of the neck becomes a bit longer. Another breath in and another breath. And then release if you've got your elbows, halfway lift. Once again, lengthen spine forward. And then on your exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back, downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, move those legs, bend and straighten your knees, lift and lower your heels or even the whole foot, one at a time. Let your hips shift from side to side. And then pause the movement through those legs and give a push through your hands. Send the chest towards your thighs. See if you can feel that length, that space in your spine. Full inhale and long exhale. Now with your next inhale, come onto the balls of the feet, lifting your heels as high as is available. And then on your exhale, bend your knees and slowly lower those knees all the way to the mat. We are meeting in a table pose. Align those hands under your shoulders. Find that neutral spine first, maybe your toes untuck, and give the tops of the feet a little push against the mat. With your next inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, bring the chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale into cat, rounding spine, chin towards the chest. And a few more at your own pace with your own breath. Just again noticing what's happening, what sensations are in the body this morning or this evening. And as always, making this about the sensation, so not worry too much about how it looks, but about the feeling of this movement in the body. Let's do one more. Inhale into your cow pose. And exhale into cat. And then let's find a neutral spine. And with the next inhale, extend your left leg out behind you. And then plant the ball of the foot. Actively push through that heel. And then walk your hands slightly forward. And we're going to go forward and back with those hips. You might be able to roll over the toes. So coming forward on the inhale, you might come onto the top of the foot. And then rolling over the toes on the exhale, pushing the heel away. And then again, coming forward on the inhale, give a little push through the top of the foot. Exhale over your toes, push the heel back. And again, inhale and coming forward. And exhale and back. And one more time, inhale forward. You're also getting quite a stretch for your wrists. And exhale, take it back. Walk your hands in if necessary, and with your next inhale, left leg will rise. Let's bend that knee, and let's find some circles with that left hip. Keep your chest pointing down, and then switch direction with those circles. And then use your next inhale to extend that leg all the way out behind you. And on your exhale, we're just going to draw the knee towards the right elbow. So it's going to cross underneath us, and we're going to squeeze it there for a moment. So your chest is still facing down, your face is facing towards the ground, but there's a bit of a twist in order to get that knee to move towards the right side. Take a full breath in, still holding. Full breath out. And then as you inhale, extend that leg all the way out behind you. And on your exhale, bring that left foot over towards the right side, this time crossing behind the right leg, and plant the ball of the foot. Push through that left heel, take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, turn your gaze towards that left heel. So left side of the body is getting a nice stretch. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more inhale here. And exhale. And then bring yourself back through center with your torso, but keep your left foot where it is. Bend your left knee. Left knee is going to drop behind the right knee. See, maybe you untuck your toes, and then moving forward and back with those hips once again. So when you're ready, come forward as you inhale. And then on your exhale, send your sit bones towards those heels, any amount. And then again, come forward, inhale, exhale, and back. You could pair this with a bit of a cow pose as you come forward, lifting the chest, the gaze, and then round that spine as you go back. One more time, inhale, and exhale. And then coming back up, center, unwind your legs, and let's meet back in a usual table pose. We're coming into puppy pose for a little break. So knees stay over, under those hips, those hands go wide, and then forward. See if you can get your forearms and elbows onto the ground, and allow your elbows, so the insides of the elbows to face one another, and then allow your elbows to bend a little bit here, and you'll notice your chest might drop a bit more towards the ground. Maybe your head is resting on ground, or you fetch your block and rest it on a block. 3 cycles of breath. So a stretch through armpits, chest. The shoulder blades are drawing towards one another. And a little bit of stretch for the hamstrings, especially the top part around the sit bones as you lift those sit bones up. One more breath. And then with your next inhale, walk your hands back towards you, coming back into your table pose. And let's take a break. Actually, let's come kind of halfway. We'll come into down dog for a moment. So tuck your toes, lift those knees and hips. Push those heels towards the ground, send the chest towards your thighs. Find a full breath in. And a full breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then with your next inhale, walk your feet to your hands. Come into the top of the mat, find a forward fold. Pause, holding onto opposite elbows, maybe a sway forward and back. Maybe an open mouth exhale. And then release those elbows, bend into your knees, chair pose, rising up, arms by your ears. Coming into a twisted chair, so left arm is going to go down and back, right arm reaches forward, torso turns towards the left. Try to keep your torso more or less upright. And then come back through center, arms up, and exhale, right arm down and back, torso turns towards the right side. And then inhale back through center, and on your exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift, really lengthen that spine, and exhale, plant your hands downward facing dog. Take here a full breath in, and take a full breath out. And now as you inhale, lift your heels high, and slowly as you can, bend those knees and lower all the way to the mat. Meeting again now in table pose, and we'll try and do all those leggy movements on the right side. So find your neutral spine, untuck your toes if that's comfortable. Take a cow and a cat, drop the belly, chest forward, gaze up, round the spine. And then look for your neutral spine, and your right leg is going to extend out behind you. We're going to plant the ball of the foot, and we're pushing through the ball of that right foot. We're pushing through the heel of that right foot. And then walk your hands slightly forward, and then the same thing. We're going to roll over those toes as we inhale, coming forward with those hips. Top of the foot presses down. As we exhale, rolling over the toes onto the ball of the foot, push the heel away. And again, come forward, inhale. And back, exhale. And forward, inhale. And back, exhale. One more time, forward. And over the toes, exhale and back. Realign your hands, and with your next inhale, right leg rises. Bending that right knee, and then find your rotation through your right hip. And then switch direction. And with your next inhale, extend your right leg all the way out behind you. And now as you exhale, your right knee is going to your left elbow, and we're going to hold there. So again, finding that twisty motion. Your chest is resisting. It's not going with the knee. It's still facing down. Breathing in and breathing out. And then on your inhale, extend that right leg all the way out behind you, and then cross that right foot over to the left side. Plant the ball of the foot, push through the heel, keep your hips pointing down, take a breath in, and then on your exhale, look over towards that right heel. So right side of your body finds a stretch. You might even send your hips slightly towards the right. Breathing in and breathing out. And now just return your torso to center, and then bend your left knee, let your right knee rest behind the left. And then from here, forward and back with those hips. So as you breathe in, come forward. As you breathe out, draw those sit bones towards the heels. And again, you could combine this with a bit of a cow spine as you come forward, and a cat spine as you go back. And 2 more times, breathing in. Nice, and breathing out. Last one here, inhale forward, and exhale, and back. Now with your next inhale, coming up, your table pose, unwind the legs, do anything you need to do with that right leg if you need to stretch it out. And then both knees to the mat, hands going to go wide, and we're coming again into puppy pose. Walk your hands forward, let your chest drop towards the ground. And just like we did on the other side, think about your elbows slightly bending out. And see if you can get that chest to stretch just a little bit more. 3 breaths. And now using your next inhale to walk your hands part way towards you, and then tuck your toes and downward facing dog. And take a moment now to, in your down dog, to really push through those hands. So feel the finger pads, the base of the fingers, the base of the the base of the thumb, pressing down into the mat, and then you pushing the floor away. See if you can find a bit more space in the spine. Another breath. And then with the next inhale, feet walk towards the hands, make your way to the top of the mat. We'll meet there in a forward fold. You might hold on to opposite elbows, pausing here for a few breaths. You might interlace your fingers and bring the hands to the back of the head, the base of the skull, adding that extra weight to the head, that bit more traction to the spine, only if it feels good. 3 breaths. And then release elbows, hands, bring your hands to your waist, bend your knees, and slowly unroll the spine as you rise all the way up to stand. Once you get here, give your shoulders a roll, bring them up by your ears, squeeze them in, and relax them down. Do that again. Inhale and lift those shoulders. See if you can feel some space in the side body also. And relax those shoulders down. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, bend those knees, coming back into your chair pose, arms lift. As you exhale, left arm back, down and back, turn towards the left side. Try to get your knees to stay more or less aligned. That left knee will draw back some. That's fine. Try not to do it too much, right? So you're not really turning your hips, you're turning through the torso. And then bring yourself back through center, arms lift. And same thing to the other side, right arm down and back. Your torso turns towards the right. Check those knees, try to keep them more or less level. And then coming back through center, straighten legs, reach your arms up. As you exhale again, right hand around that left wrist. Pull that left wrist up and over. Inhale, return. And to your other side, exhale. And inhale, return. And on your exhale, release your arms. Left foot is going to step back. And we're coming into warrior one. So take your time to arrive there, and then we'll meet there with hands at heart. So from our warrior one, we're going to practice a bit as well of active rotation through the spine. So don't think that you've got to rotate a lot. I just want you to try and feel the work that it requires to rotate the spine without pulling yourself into it with your hands or with something else, right? So it's hard work, and there might not be a lot of movement that comes or that is visually obvious, but it feels. So Your hands are at your heart, your thumbs are glued to the center of your chest. Okay? And all along, as you find this rotation, don't let your hands move away from the chest. So we're going to take a full breath in, and then on the exhale, begin to turn your torso towards the right side. Notice that most of the movement is coming from the thoracic spine, so kind of from the rib cage area of your spine. There's a bit of rotation through the lower back, the lumbar spine, but there's not much available there. So you don't want to force that. Breathing in, breathing out. One more here. Remember, inhale to lengthen up the spine. Exhale, draw belly to spine and find that rotation. As you inhale, come back through center, reach your arms tall, and on your exhale, left hand around your right wrist, and we're pulling that right wrist over towards the left side, but not too far, so you're not losing your warrior one stance. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bring that torso back through center, switch the wrist, right hand around the left wrist, and then left wrist over towards the right side. And again, no change in those warrior one legs. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, coming back through center, and on your exhale, bring those hands behind you, interlace them at your lower back. Open up through the chest, knuckles down, and on your exhale, hinge forward and down with your torso. Again, no change in the legs. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then with your next inhale, rising up, release those arms, reach them tall. And as you exhale, a little moment of balancing transition. Bring your weight forward and step that back foot forward and plant it next to the right, arms by your side. Find your breath. Maybe close your eyes if you're feeling stable. Breathing here. Once again, just noticing sensations in the body. Maybe even noticing dialogue in the mind. Another breath in. And another breath out. If eyes were closed, let's open those eyes. Reach your arms up once again. On your exhale, find a bend in those knees and fold forward. Inhale to a halfway lift, lengthening. And exhale once again, fold. Give yourself here a breath in and a breath out. And then hands come back to those hips, bend those knees, unroll the spine, as if you were stacking one vertebra over the other, and find your mountain pose once again at the top of your mat. So let's do all of that on the other side. When you're ready, reaching your arms up, inhale. And then now your right foot is going to step back into your warrior one stance. As always, take your time to get there. Find that bend into that front knee. Find that squaring of the hips more or less towards the top of the mat. And then use your next inhale to reach your arms up. And on your exhale, palms together and lower those hands to your heart. Again, glue those thumbs to the chest. Find that lifted, lengthened spine, breathing in. And then on the exhale, we're going to turn towards the left side, any amount that is available without changing the position of those thumbs and chest. Nice job. Keep bending into that front knee. Stay strong through the right glute. Don't take it too far. Full breath in. Full breath out. Lengthen with your inhale. One more. Belly to spine as you exhale. And then returning through center, breathing in, reaching your arms up. On your exhale, right hand around the left wrist. No change in the legs. Pull that left wrist up and over. See if you can find some space in the left side of that rib cage. And then bring yourself back through center. Switch the wrist. Pull that right wrist up and over. And now look for some space in the right waist, right rib cage. Breathing in and breathing out. As you inhale, come back through center. And now on your exhale, hands behind you, maybe the opposite interlace to the one you did earlier. And then knuckles down, open chest. As you exhale, chest forward and down. Try to use this to neutralize spine. Okay, so using this pose to lengthen crown of the head away from tailbone. Use your arms to draw the shoulders away from your ears. And try to relax the face. Breath in and a breath out. One more. Breathing in and breathing out. Lifting that torso, freeing up those arms, maybe lift them overhead. And another chance for a bit of balance. Bring that weight into that front leg. Maybe there's a couple steps instead of just one. That's fine. Make it controlled, intentional, and then meet us in mountain pose. Arms by your side. Recovering the breath if it went away. Maybe closing your eyes once again, just to feel any sensations. And then with your next inhale, eyes open, arms lift. On your exhale, bend those knees, forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift, lengthening. And exhale, planting hands, stepping feet back, downward facing dog. Now an option in your down dog, because twists tend to compress a bit, especially side body, back body. This stretch, see if you can feel this stretch in your down dog. So find a bit more space between your feet, maybe like 2 fists or so, or even a bit more. And then with your next inhale, lift your heels. And then on your exhale, pivot on the balls of the feet and send your heels towards the right side, dropping them towards the floor. See if you can feel a stretch through the left side of your torso. And then as you inhale, bring those heels back through center. And on your exhale, drop the heels towards the left. And now the right side of the torso. So push through that right hand, send your hips back. See if you can feel that stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. If it felt good, let's do it one more time each side. If it didn't feel good, just come to a normal down dog. Just take those heels over towards the right. And then back through center. And then heels towards the left. And then bring yourself back through center. And now on your exhale, let's lower those knees to the mat. And we're coming all the way into a child's pose. Big toes to touch. Maybe those knees slide away from one another if it feels good to open up through the knees, depending on how your hips are feeling today. And then send those sit bones towards your heels. Your arms could be out in front of you. You could hold onto opposite elbows. You could also bring the palms together and then bend your elbows, lifting your forearms, and those thumbs might come towards the back of the head. So you're giving your triceps, shoulder blade area a bit of a stretch too. We'll stay for a few breaths, so allow yourself to settle some. You might even find open mouth exhales, letting go of the effort, the tension, and trusting that if you need to effort, you need to activate, you will be able to. And even more so if you allow yourself to relax at this point. One more breath. And then if your arms were behind you or hands behind the head, bring them forward. And then from here, let's all make our way into a table pose. Those knees under the hips, those hands under the shoulders. And we're going to find that thread, the needle. So if you know that you benefit from a pillow or the block, you could plant it more or less under your chest. That's kind of where you'll land with your, we'll start with the right arm, so with your right shoulder or maybe the side of the head. So when you're ready from your table pose, your right arm is going to come out to the side and then up towards the ceiling. Find some space in that chest, find that reach up. And then on your exhale, let's just thread first. So just reach to the left and look without lowering. And then open up again, breathing in. And then thread as you breathe out. And then inhale, open. And this time we're going to thread, bend into that left elbow so that you can lower your right shoulder towards the ground, the head towards the ground. Maybe the head finds the block, the pillow, the shoulder finds some support too. Your right palm is facing up. Your left hand is by your face, helping you here. And then we'll add some options, but again, these are just options. You don't have to do them if it doesn't work for you. So first option is to walk your left fingers towards the top of the mat. So extending your left arm, keeping your fingers down, and then send your left sit bone back. Press down through the right shoulder, through the right arm, so activate it some. Second option is sending that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, making a fist, and then finding some rotation through that left wrist. In one direction and in the other. You could then just drape your left arm behind the back or rest it at your lower back or turn your palm to face up and then slide that arm towards the right hip. And then try to draw the chin slightly to the chest so you're not compressing the back of your neck. And let's stay for 3 more breaths. See if you can give a little push through that right arm so you're not just kind of collapsing, you're actually a bit more active. Last breath in and breath out. And then planting your left hand by your face, if it's not there already, bring weight into that left arm and then lift up. Open up through that right arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, and then on your exhale, send that right arm all the way forward, plant your fingertips and come onto your left forearm. Walk your right fingers a little further, maybe drop the head. If the neck is feeling a bit sensitive, with the head kind of dropping, you might find a little rotation through your neck and letting go of any tension that might have built up. Breathe in and breathe out. And then walk that right hand back towards you, coming back onto both hands. You're back in your table pose and we'll go straight to the left side. So as you're ready, your left arm comes out, up towards the ceiling. Open that torso towards the left. Try to keep your arm in line with the torso. And then exhale, thread towards the right. Look to the right side. Let's do that again. Open, inhale. Thread, exhale. And open, inhale. And this time on your exhale, we're threading and we're lowering that left side to the mat. So the outer part of that left shoulder might come onto your pillow or your mat. The head is also resting on something that will allow yourself to relax some here. And then wiggle your hips a bit. You'll notice that if your hips go a bit more towards the right side, you won't find as much stretch or sensation. If you send your hips slightly towards the left, align them a bit more, there'll be a bit more stretch through the shoulder blade area. And then again, some options with that right hand. Perfectly fine to keep it by your face. Another option is to walk those right fingers forward towards the top of the mat, away from you, keeping the forearm lifted, the palm lifted. Notice here, breathing in, breathing out. Maybe staying here, or maybe another option is to reach that arm up towards the ceiling. And then make that fist and just gently rotate through your wrist. So as you do that, remember, keep your left side active. So a little bit of push through that left arm. Switch direction. And then pausing that rotation, maybe your arm stays, or maybe you turn the palm out away from you, and then you drop that hand behind you, maybe slide it towards your left hip. Breathing here. And last breath in and breath out. And then returning that right hand to your face. Plant it, bring weight into it, push into it, open up again towards the left side. And then from here, swim that left arm forward. And then come onto your right forearm, walk your left fingers even further if that's available. And then allow your head to hang some, maybe a little movement through the neck, letting go of any tension that might have built there. And then let's walk those hands back. Come back into your table pose. Take a full breath in, cow pose, inhale. And then on your exhale, round your spine and come onto your fingertips close to your knees as you find that extra rounding through upper back, back of the neck. Pausing here, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then send your feet to one side and then see if you can land on your sit bones behind those knees and find your way into a seat. Legs in front of you. If you've got your block nearby, grab the block. And then we're going for a little bit more rounding of the spine. So plant the block in front of you, your knees are bent, your knees are wide, your feet are wide, and then bring your hands onto that block and then walk your hands forward on that block as far forward as you can without changing the position of your legs. Now look again for space in that back body. Allow the head to hang if that is comfortable, and take about 3 breaths emphasizing the expansion into the back body as you breathe in, and then emphasizing the softening, the release as you breathe out. And then with your next inhale, walk your hands back towards you. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. So we've not done much with opening of the hips or external rotation through the hips. So be gentle with yourself here right now as we do this. Your hands could be behind you and prop your spine up. Maybe even push your spine forward, so encouraging the flexion through your hips. If that's there, bring your hands to your ankles or your shins and then use that hold to pull your chest forward and down. Again, looking here for length through the spine. So see if you can stay with more of a neutral spine rather than going again into a rounded spine. Wherever you are, breathing in and breathing out. Let's take one more just like this. Breath in and breath out. And then with the next inhale, let's come up through center. And we're going to add a little resistance. We did this a few weeks ago. So there's a few options. One option is to bring your hands to your thighs or the inner part of your knee. And then you're going to push into those knees. The other option is to come onto forearms and push with your forearms. We're going to add some resistance. So we're not only pushing with the arms, the legs are going to push back into those arms. So whenever you're ready, we're going to do it for a count of 5 and twice. So take a full breath in, find some length through your spine, and then on your exhale, push those arms into your legs and then push back with your legs for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. And then release. Bring your hands again behind you, find some space in the torso, maybe even lean back some. Let your knees flop down, maybe a little further. Take a breath in and take a breath out. And then we'll do it once more. So when you're ready, bring your hands again to your knees or your forearms and then take a breath in, lengthen up. And then on your exhale, begin to push with your arms, begin to push back with your legs for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Nice job. From here, bring those knees back in, and we're going to find some space in the fronts of the hips in a moment. So you could bring your block with you. Plant your feet, knees, feet hip width. Bring those arms out in front of you. Take a full inhale, and then on your exhale, slowly lower back, and then lower mid back, and then lower upper back, and lastly, lower your head. Bridge pose. Those heels come closer to those sit bones. Those arms are by your side. As you inhale, lift your hips. Find that space in the fronts of the hips. Find that stretch. As you exhale, lower. Let's do that again. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Press down through the big toe side of your foot. And one more time as we inhale, lift, grab your block, and then slide that block under the sacrum and let your sacrum rest on your block. So from here, options too. So maybe staying, ankles more or less under the knees, your hands maybe rest by your side or you bring them to rest on your belly. Maybe if the lower back is feeling okay, you walk your feet forward away from you, any amount. So it doesn't mean that your legs have to be in this extended position. You could have them still bent and the soles of the feet still planted. If the lower back is feeling okay, there's no pinching, you might extend your legs all the way out. You might come onto your heels and then let your toes flop out. And getting that stretch through fronts of the hips, belly, up through the torso, rib cage. And then keeping the chin slightly tucked towards the chest, and you also will be getting a stretch through the back of your neck. Try not to move the chin from side to side. So your gaze would be down midline. And we'll give ourselves a few cycles of breath. And then if you had your legs extended or your feet away from you, begin to walk those feet back towards the block. Find those ankles once again more or less under those knees. And then when you're ready, lift your hips off the block, move the block out of the way. And now slowly, very slowly, we'll lower the spine. Think about tucking that tailbone between your legs as you begin to lower from upper parts of the spine all the way down to the sacrum. And then once that sacrum is on the ground, just give yourself a breath here. That back body is getting acquainted once again to being in this more neutral position. And then we'll counter that back bend. So we'll bring the right knee into the chest and give it a squeeze. You might stay with the left foot planted, or you might extend your left leg all the way out onto the mat. And then draw that right knee towards your right armpit and push that lower back into the mat. Full breath in and full breath out. And then bring that left knee back in if you extended it out. And then switching sides, hug that left knee into your chest, plant your right foot. Maybe right knee stays bent, or extend that right leg onto the mat. Pushing that lower back into the mat. Using again this to neutralize that bridge pose, to neutralize those twists. Using the floor, the ground as reference, a point to push against. And then bring both knees into your chest. And we'll go for a happy baby. As you find your happy baby, once again, look for neutral or press that lower back into the mat. Draw left knee towards left armpit, right knee to right armpit. You might stay here, heels towards the glutes, or you might lift your feet towards the ceiling. Keep that lower back on the ground. Keep your shoulder blades on the ground. Keep your head on the ground. Breathing here. And then releasing your happy baby, planting your feet, let your knees rest against one another, your feet go a bit wider, hands to your belly, give yourself a deep belly breath, expand that belly into your hands. A long exhale, draw the belly away from your hands. And then do one more and see if you can find the longest breath that is available to you at this moment. The longest inhale and the longest exhale. And then finding Shavasana, finding that moment of pause, of rest. Physical body pauses, stops the doing. And the doing meaning the voluntary doing. See if you can allow it to soften towards the ground. And then just see if the mind goes along and softens and calms, or if today the mind gets even busier. It is what it is, right? There's no rights or wrongs. But what you can do is watch it, is witness it, rather than at this moment be involved making things happen in a certain way. See if you can allow yourself to be the witness instead of the actor for just a couple minutes. And then we'll bring ourselves back, draw that attention back to your breath. And see if you can use your breath to guide movement back into your body. Moving in any way that feels right to you. And then eventually from your back body, moving onto the side body, finding a full inhale, a long exhale. And then with no rush, making your way up. We'll find a comfortable seat and we'll end practice together. Finding that lifted spine, that soft face. Acknowledging here the practice. Acknowledging ourselves for practicing. Acknowledging those who practice with us at any time. And then all those who make it possible. And ending with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.